is there anything in your sex life you'd be embarrassed if your mum or dad found out or your parents found out? And somebody put the answer, I'm 45 years old, I hope so. Oh, excuse me. A couple of bits of non-Rangers related questions. A couple of non-related. You got me flustered.
Thank God somebody has.
Aye.
And the stadium erupts in red, white and blue. You've never seen anything like it.
Let's go.
Brace yourself. Rangers are coming!
Hi everyone, and welcome to the next episode of the iReady podcast. Yes, it's into season 6, wow, of the iReady podcast now. Episode 1. As ever, I'm your host Derek, and with me is my co-host Dave.
Hi Derek, how are you this evening?
I'm very well, how are you?
Derek, I am still buzzing from our visit earlier on when we did the Ibrox tour. I thought it was just absolutely fantastic. I know you thought exactly the same.
Yeah, I mean, that's the third time I've done it, and amazingly, it's your first, wasn't it?
It was, aye. For all the years I've had my season ticket and been in and out of Ibrox getting tickets and club shop and everything like that, that is the first time that I have ever done the tour, and I was taken aback, 43 years old, and I was walking about with my mouth open. I was totally in awe of the place, and just glad that I was able to take my wee boy Derek, and I was with my good pals, yourself and you and our friend Graham for Epic Promotions came along as well. And I mean, you and Graham have all done the tour before. But I think even you guys that have been there, once or twice before, still were walking about like myself in awe of the place, and excited to go into every room that we were about to go into, and it was just great, Derek, wasn't it? Yeah. I put a wee tweet out earlier on with regards to the tour guide Lawrence, who I thought was just absolutely fantastic. He was so passionate about his job and so informative, and gave a history lesson, because there was some guys there for England, there was some guys there for Northern Ireland, there was a couple over from Germany as well, Derek, which was great, and especially for the likes of my laddie who'll be 12 soon. It was great, to basically go in and show them we are, one of the greatest teams in the world, and regardless what sort of state we're in at the moment, we always will be. And just to go into the trophy room and just, I don't know about you, Derek, but the highlight for me was just walking down that tunnel. It was just the feeling that I got walking down there to an empty stadium was incredible. So, the feeling that the players must get going down when it's like a capacity crowd just must be absolutely out of this world. I absolutely loved it, mate. I really did. I thought it was brilliant. I really did. It
makes you proud, so proud to be a Rangers fan when you see the stadium like that and go behind the scenes and just think about the history that's there. Is incredible. I mean,
it's unreal.
Just the marble everywhere, the wood paneling everywhere. It's incredible. And one thing, I said to Graham was that certain managers have left legacies. Walter Smith, and he speaks for himself. Dick Advocaat is, he made basically the training park at Auchenhowie.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And Pedro Caixinha put "We Are the People" above the door of the tunnel.
We've all got to leave something, Derek.
Exactly.
Surely,
but I know what you mean about going down the tunnel. It was a strange, eerie experience, to be honest, to be doing that. And I know that, many fans have done it throughout the tours throughout the years, but, you can only imagine being a player in a Rangers jersey walking down that tunnel out into 50,000 fans. It's incredible.
I know.
It's something I could do tomorrow again, but because just being there is just fantastic, and you understand the history of it now, and it's incredible.
I know, and it makes me want to even more get me signed up to go on the Founders Trail now. because that just looks amazing just to go back, because even just the wee historical bit with the the big picture that's in the blue room showing you how it all started to where it ends was just incredible, just even seeing that. So getting a more sort of in-depth look into things would just be brilliant.
Yep, so Founders Trail, the next one for the iReady podcast tour.
Definitely we'll get that done soon.
Yes. So, into the more modern era now, we have quite a bit to talk about, obviously players in and out, and we've got a few games to cover, 2 friendlies, 2 European games. Dave's got a classic match, and we've got bits and pieces in the news as well. So,
yep.
For the benefit of our sexual Tyrannosaurus Rex dinosaur that is our friend on the podcast, Ewan, we will go down the tunnel and onto the pitch.
Quality.
Or is that down the pitch and onto the tunnel?
Onto the tunnel, yeah.
Right, we've obviously got to cover a few ins and outs here with players. One thing that came out was Steven Gerrard has apparently been given first refusal from the youngsters from Liverpool who are set for loans. So it's an interesting development, that, is it not?
Yeah, it certainly is. Obviously, we don't know much about them, Derek, but I think a lot of them have been out on loan, several championship clubs and but just still a very good standard. So, I mean, Derek, if it's going to help us in the long run, fantastic. I wouldn't like, I wouldn't like to think that he's just going to say, oh well, he's a youngster and he's played for this club and that club. We'll bring him in. Surely with his connections down there, he'll know the type of player that he's looking for, and if they're there for loan and they're going to do the job, then why not? If they're going to be better than the players that we've got already. So no, I'm all for it, Derek. Just let's see what he can bring in. He might unearth a couple of gems there. Yeah,
I mean, like when we send players out, it's got to be a mutually beneficial thing for the parent club, the player, and ourselves. So we've got to wait and see what happens there. But certainly a few loan signings we've made as well, which I've drew a wee bit of scepticism from some of the crowd. But the 2 ones that have been long and protracted, and we did obviously mention in the pre-season pod, is the 21-year-old striker from Roma, Umar Sadiq, has been confirmed, as well as the 22-year-old midfielder from Angers, Lassana Koulibaly.
Yeah.
So we'll see what we're like. Well, obviously we'll get into the game with the likes of Morelos as well. So it's I think we're crying out for Sadiq, aren't we?
I think, like what we said, Derek, it's we don't know much about these guys, but the fact that Sadiq is a Roma player, and I know that he's not had a lot of game time for Roma, but he has been out on loan playing at a very good level in the Dutch Premier League last season. And by all accounts, the guy Koulibaly is a bit of a sort of hard tackling midfielder, a real sort of powerhouse in midfield, which again, we could be doing with a wee bit of an enforcer in there. So he obviously thinks very highly and done his homework, because there's no way that we would have known anything about any of these 2 players. So we'll wait and see. I don't know. I take it the 2 of them have got their international clearance now, Derek, because they're both, I believe, in the squad for the match on Thursday night.
I believe so. So it'll be interesting to see if they do get a start. I mean, obviously we'll get into it about Morelos, so we'll see if he starts ahead of, or certainly Sadiq starts ahead of him. But next signing we've got is just a recent one, 21-year-old midfielder Ryan Kent. He's on a season-long loan from Liverpool, so that certainly there's a few already from Liverpool in this one. So certainly there's already been jokes about his brother Clark as well. So
dear no, yes, exactly. Yep. Again, I think he's a winger, Derek. I believe he had spells not very long in the Bundesliga last season, and then he was down at a championship club in England as well. I've heard good reports. I've heard not so good reports, Derek. I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you, how the guy performed or anything like that. But again, playing at that kind of level, especially if he was even got about 8 or 9 games in the Bundesliga. He's going to be a good player, Derek. So we'll just we'll just have to now wait and see the proof of the pudding and all that. So let's just hope he turns out to be a very good acquisition for us.
Obviously, we've had a few more rumours again, and the rumour of Steve Davis always seems to pop up as well.
Yeah.
Nothing transpired so far. We are kind of too heavy in midfield anyway, as it is. However, he would certainly be a cracking player for us, and he would bring great experience as well. So we'll see how that transpires, but I don't think that's going to happen, do you?
Derek, and I honestly don't know. Like you, I think we've got a lot of midfielders, but I don't know if, as you say, he would certainly be an improvement in there. But with his age in that as well, I don't know. I think it would just have to be. I think if we got him, I'll not say on the cheap, but we could get him at an affordable deal. Both for him off the park and it would be something to go for, but it will change every day, mate. We'll be linked to somebody else tomorrow, so it's just a matter of seeing. And I know I do like the rumours, but I'm afraid it just all seems to be the same folk, isn't it?
Talking of rumours, one that's certainly going to be going to bed now is Ollie McBurney. He won't be coming in because he's just signed a 3-year extension to his Swansea contract, so unless that's a loan deal or a very expensive signing, which it won't be, he won't be coming. And the player that some of us wanted, some of us didn't want, was Jason Cummins. He's signed a season-long loan with Peterborough. He did state on social media that he did actually he wanted to stay with us, and he actually tried to. So I wanted him to stay because I think there's obviously a player there. I think he was maybe lost because he had a bad partner of sorts when Morelli was playing with Morelos, and he's not a player that can play up himself, and that's the only times he really seemed to get a game. When he was either up himself or with Morelos, he had no options but to do that, and I don't think he was given a fair crack at the whip, to be honest. But that's what happens in football.
He certainly was popular, Derek. The fans all loved him for his off the field antics. But as you say, I do think there was a player there. Maybe if he'd have got his chance, he'd have maybe started banging the goals in. But we'll never know now. But it was very classy about it, Derek, and he put on social media that how gutted he was to leave, and he was honoured to play for us and stuff like that. So I mean, that's great, and it always does leave the door open for him, doesn't it? So he didn't leave in bad terms. So.
Yeah. So talking of players going out as well, finally Bruno Alves has had his contract mutually terminated, so he's joined Parma. I think that's just a season long issue with that one. Harry Forrester has also had his contract mutually terminated, and he's not found a club as of yet. What do you think of these two players?
Can I correct you there, Derek?
Has he got a
Harry Forrester? He's joined Tractor Sazi, who are managed by John Toshak, and he has also been joined at Tractor Sazi by Anthony Stokes, who they've also signed, playing in Iran, and he's the first Englishman to sign for an Iranian club since 1979. So there you go.
Well, good luck. That's all I can say. What can you say?
Yeah, exactly. A team called Tractor Sazi in the Iranian Super League. That's who he signed for, and he will be playing alongside Stokes next season with John Toshak as his manager. So there you go.
Oh well, what can I say about that?
I think, Derek, going back, we've always went on that we've always thought there was a player there. I listened to a few folk on Twitter who were absolutely slating the guy, saying that he was absolutely dreadful and all that. I honestly didn't think so. I actually thought, if he'd screwed the head and really given it his all, I think that there was a player there because he certainly had the ability, but I don't think he had it mentally to play for us. So as you say, good luck to the guy. I think he's another one that enjoyed his time playing for a huge club. He'll never get that chance again, and you'll find that when he retires, the highlight of his career will be playing for us. Yep. When he looks back. So as you say, good luck to the guy. I hope it all works out for him out there.
Yep. Jamie Barjonas has set to join Partick Thistle on loan. I think that was a season-long loan thing.
A good move for him as well, I think.
Yep. Eduardo Herrera has went on a season-long loan to Santos Laguna. Probably the last time we're going to see him.
Yeah. So there'll be no more historic selfies in Scotland, I think, Derek. I think that's it all done.
I think he's seen every corner of Scotland, every castle, every monument, everything.
He's actually, I think they're going to, the Scottish Tourism Board should be using him when he's out in Mexico, so that they can try and get some tourists over. So he's using all his footage and everything. A bit of a strange one here. Greg Docherty has been told he can go out on a season-long loan. Sunderland are apparently the front runners for that. Obviously, there's a lot being said about this. I'm pretty disappointed. Again, as I said, we're quite heavy in midfield, and I think that's maybe the issue where we said we want to keep you, but you're not going to get a game this season, so go out and prove your worth there. I think he's a very good player, Derek. I'm really quite surprised at this one, because I thought he would have pushed on and got his breakthrough this year, because I was always impressed with him. And any time I've seen him play, he had a few ropey touches in a few games, but who doesn't? But all in all, I thought he was very good. So as you say, I'm quite surprised at that as well. So maybe playing for a club like Sunderland as well, who are basically going to be the big fish down there, playing against a lot of the smaller clubs, it might help him, mentally prepared to come back. But I really hope that does work out, because I do think he is a quality player and he's still young.
Yep. Next one here, obviously there was a lot of talk about Windass going, and apparently Cardiff had triggered a supposed £3 million release clause for him. His dad, Dean Windass, is... I'm not going to say anything about him, because he's just an absolute wind-up merchant. That's the best thing I can say about him. But he confirmed that there was a clause, or there is a clause. It turned out there probably was a clause, but it's no longer active since he renewed his contract. Was it last season?
Right.
And it turned out that the story was a load of rubbish anyway. However, I think there's somebody back in for him. There's certainly 4 clubs, according to the tabloids, sniffing about him. So he's a frustrating player. We'll get into his actions in the games up and coming here, but that's one to watch out for. And the last thing we've got here in terms of players was allegedly a Fenerbahce chief was meant to have jetted into Scotland to have talks with us about Morelos, and tabled a £2.6 million bid. I think that was rubbish also, wasn't it?
It was. I think definitely. I think the whole thing that triggered all the media speculation was, I think, that Morelos had actually liked or retweeted something that they had put out about him, or there was something linked to him to do with Fenerbahce and he had liked it or something like that. So I think everybody kind of pounced on that, but no, I think that was another one that's wide of the mark.
Yep. So next thing here, we'll suppose we better get into the games, won't we?
Yep.
First game was on Tuesday the 3rd of July. It was a 3-1 win against Welshide. That's my Sean Connery impression coming back.
Three times against Welshide. Is that what you said? Well, shite, that's not very nice, Derek. I mean, we didn't even come away with things like that against teams like Aberdeen and all that. Like, to call them well shite, that's a bit much.
But season 6 on the I Ready podcast, we're playing well shite and we beat them 3-1.
Well shite.
Yes, Welsh side TNS.
Get your teeth back in, man.
And that was at the Hummel Training Centre. It was basically treated as 2 45-minute games with different teams for Rangers in each half. Apart from Anik, he played up until the 75th minute, I think it was. So just a general run out for us. There wasn't anything major happened there, and there's obviously no footage of the game that we've seen anyway. So. That leads into the next game 3 days later. It was Friday the 6th of July. It was a 6-0 win against Bury, or Bury, whatever we want to pronounce it. I think it's meant to be pronounced Bury.
It's Bury, yes, apparently so. Yeah. We would always be uncouth and say Bury, but I think it's actually supposedly supposed to be pronounced Bury, so there you go.
That was at Ibrox, and incredibly 41,000 fans turned out for the game, and I was one of them. Again, it was a pretty much a runabout. We did, change things up quite dramatically. So we started off with McGregor, Tavernier, Goldson, Katic, Flanagan, McCrory, Windass, Candeas, Arfield, Murphy and Morelos. Eventually all of these next players came on. McCrory in goals, Hodgson, Bradley, Wilson, John, Jack, Atakai, Halliday, Docherty, Middleton and Rudden all came on at various stages throughout the second half. As I said, it was pretty much a runabout. It was 6-0 win. I think Bury are sitting in the second or third tier of English football.
Yep.
So, it's a pretty good run out. You can't argue anything about that. However, some fans did, fun enough. It baffles me. Some fans were genuinely getting on the players' back for a friendly game on a Friday night that really meant nothing. It was a first chance to see the players in the flesh. It was obviously Gerrard's first game, and some fans were given the players' pelters. It just baffles me sometimes. It really does, and I hope that's not going to continue this season. There are going to be frustrating times with their team throughout the season, as there were last year. You need to give the players a wee bit of time, and especially the younger players as well. You can't get on their backs like that. Anyway, it was, as I said, it was 6-0. Murphy scored in the 7th minute, Katic in the 31st, Arfield in the 35th, and on the 65th, Morelos on the 70th, and Zach Rudden on the 75th as well.
Yep.
Pre-match as well, there was a minute's silence in memory of Johnny Hubbard and Harold Davis, so impeccably observed as usual. I believe you watched this online, Dave, didn't you?
I did, yes.
Is that all you've got?
No, sorry. No, I was the same as you, Derek. I wasn't expecting much. Obviously, I was delighted that we scored as many goals as that. As you say, for a first game, it was a very professional effort by the team. Do you know what I mean? Especially having your two new centre halves playing together for the first time. A lot of people slated Bury, they're an absolutely terrible team, but then apparently about a week later they had another pre-season friendly against Liverpool and drew 0-0, so they can't be that bad a team. But again, for these guys playing for Bury to come out and see 40,000 odd in a stadium for a pre-season game, they must be saying to themselves, "Oh my God, this is absolutely incredible." But some good goals, Derek, and some good play. I thought young Middleton, when he came on, looked really good. And Jamie Murphy was a threat throughout the match, and just they went about it very professionally. They gave the fans something to cheer about. You can't even ask for much more than that, Derek. I know you're saying there was still a lot of fans were complaining and stuff, but really to go to a pre-season game and win 6-0, that's what you're looking for, isn't it?
Well, to go to a pre-season game and moan about it, that's not what you're looking for. So
no,
I was quite happy just being there, looking at watching the team, because it's going to be one of the few games I'll get to this year, given the season tickets and the lack of just general sale tickets. So I was quite happy just to go there and see them. Just on about what you were talking about of the fans, the Bury fans, they were on social media afterwards saying that they absolutely loved it. They thought the atmosphere was incredible. They got treated very well, as they would do normally. And they couldn't believe when they started singing Rule Britannia and God Save the Queen, the whole stadium started singing it with them as well. So there's no many places that would happen. So,
no, there's not, no.
A good occasion for all, and the fans never disgrace themselves in friendlies like that, especially with English teams.
Exactly.
Yep. So on to the main business now. Was Thursday the 12th of July. It was a 2-0 win against FK Shkupi in the Europa League Qualifier Round 1 Leg 1. Now, just before the game, Jordan Rossiter suffered an ankle injury prior to the game, so that was ruling him out for a few weeks. So it's not the same leg up or ankle or whatever it is that's been previously bothering him. But once again,
I know the guy's he's either got serious problems, Derek, or he's just the most unluckiest player ever. We keep saying this about him all the time. He'll come back, he'll have a blinder, and we say to yourself, "Oh, this is it, this is the start, he's going to kick on. We all know this guy could be a class act," and then another injury that rules him out. It's just stuff. I don't know what to think now, Derek. I don't know what you think about the guy, but I'm really starting to worry about him big time. And
when he came back towards the end of last year, you could see how good a player he is. But
I know
there's something, obviously, he's as you said, he's maybe just unlucky, or there is a problem there. It's something that we can't keep putting our hopes on, because he is a talent from what we've seen, but this is what's blighted his career, even at Liverpool. And as we've said before, and as what many people have said, there is a reason why we got the was it captain of the England under-20s. So just need to wait and see again. But anyway, we lined up. It was basically the same team, I believe, that started against Bury. It was McGregor, Tavernier, Goldson, Katic, Flanagan, McCrory, Arfield, Candeas, Murphy, Windass and Morelos. On the subs bench it was Anik, John, Middleton, Halliday, Doherty, Ejaria and Jack. And news before the game kicked off was Tavernier has been given the captaincy for the year.
Yes, I've seen that. I'm quite surprised about that, actually, Derek. But I suppose he's one of the guys that's been there, out of that group, the longest. I had a wee sneaky suspicion it was going to be McGregor. That's who I thought. But good luck to him. I hope he can handle the responsibility and maybe up his game. He certainly looked quite impressive in the matches that I've seen him so far, and he did play well last season as well. So here's hoping he can maintain that. Yeah,
and it kind of puts the final nail in the coffin of Lee Wallace's career, doesn't it?
Yes, I would say
career
so,
at Rangers anyway. So
yeah.
So on the 8th minute there was a great ball from the left by Candeas, and the defender just got to it before Morelos did. 11th minute there was a good ball in from the right from Tavernier on the deck. It was just too near the keeper, but Morelos was certainly lurking about there. Shkupi had a chance on the 14th minute. It was a good strike, and actually had Shagger beat, but hit off the top of the bar, fortunately, and out. And we got our goal on the 22nd minute. Went 1-0 up through Jamie Murphy. It was a quick break down the right. Candeas cuts it to Tavernier, who keeps going inward. He could have passed it wide to the on-running Candeas, but he plays a great ball to Murphy on the left of the box. He drove the ball in, took the ball forward and hits it past two players and also the keeper into the back of the net. It actually rolled over the foot of the keeper, so it was maybe slight bit of luck to it, but certainly we'll take it every day of the week. And
definitely,
it was just that the vision from Tavernier. He could have played the easy ball back out wide again and then across from wide, but he just seen Murphy there in space, and we know what Murphy's like. He does like to drive the ball forward into the box and try and get the shot away, and which he done, and unfortunately it paid off.
Yes, no, it was a great move, as you said. A wee bit fortunate with the finish, but I'm really not caring at that point. And I think at that point, Derek, I don't know what you thought, but I certainly thought, well, we've created quite a few chances. We've got the upper hand here. Surely they're going to go on now and score a couple and put the game to bed. But as you're saying, we didn't make a light meal of it anyway. But I'll let you continue.
Yep. In 27th minute there was a free kick floated into the box. Katic had a header out to the far post where Windass was, who had a great header, and it was a fantastic save from the keeper. Should have been a goal. Can't really blame Windass for that, because it was a great save as well. 34th minute there was a shot from Flanagan, deflected off the defender's leg and forced a good save from the keeper out for the corner. Resultant corner had Goldson put a header just wide. 40th minute, good play from Arfield out to Tavernier, plays a long ball into the box which finds the head of Morelos, who puts it over the bar. Really should have been a goal, that one.
Yeah, definitely.
43rd minute, after a corner wasn't cleared, Tavernier plays a lovely chip ball into the back of the box. Two players lining up for it, possible hesitation, and Goldson ends up putting it wide with his head. Again, probably should have been another goal.
Definitely, yep.
Into half time, certainly we were by far the better team. I think Shkupi only had that one chance that went off the top of the bar, but we were well in control, and Shkupi never looked like really scoring, did they?
No, definitely not, Derek. But the longer the game went on, though, you could just sense that we were like, I think I texted you and said, oh God, I've got a horrible feeling of deja vu here.
Yeah.
Because it just seemed like it was just never going to come, didn't it, in the second half?
Into the second half, 55th minute, Candeas came off and Ryan Jack came on. 61st minute, there was a free kick whipped in long from Tavernier, and Windass had a good glancing header but comfortably saved for the keeper. 63rd minute, there was a lovely cross from Tavernier, again on the right edge of the box. Windass header just over the bar. On the 66th minute, Arfield came off and Ajaria came on, and there's somebody, certainly he apparently appeared to bless himself. Not something that really most people, I don't think, noticed until Celtic fans pointed it out online. Not sure any Rangers fan really gives a fuck, did they?
I really don't give a shit, Derek. If the guy's going to do well, he can do whatever the fuck he wants, It really doesn't bother me as long as he plays well, and he certainly, in the wee flashes that I've seen, he looks a bit of a player. So no, I really don't care, Derek.
No, 77th minute he did have a chance. He got into the box and he was clipped inside the box, and he had a very good claim for the penalty, but the referee waved on. 78th minute, Windass came off and Middleton came on, and that's when we really started to see how good Middleton can be, because he was instantly, involved, and he was getting himself about the place. Wasn't until the 87th minute there was a next thing where Morelos was pulled back in the box. It probably should have been a penalty, but Morelos made a right meal of it. He was pulled back, but he kind of jumped forwards and made a theatrics of going down, and probably quite rightly on the back of that the referee never gave a penalty. We did get a penalty 3 minutes later though. Murphy taken down in the box. It kind of was soft, because I think he kind of went over the outstretched leg of the defender rather than the other way about, but might have made up for the fact that the Ajaria one wasn't given as well. At this point it was kind of nervy, because we're all thinking this is going to be a carbon copy of progress. We're only going to get one goal in the game and head into the away leg, but fortunately Tavernier converted it to make it 2-0, and that's kind of taken a wee bit of pressure off us.
It certainly did, Derek. It was a huge weight off their shoulders, because regardless if what had happened in the next game, it would the media would have just been constantly saying that was going to happen, and it would have played on the players' minds. So no, I was delighted when we scored the second goal. It was just sheer relief.
Yep. 94th minute, last move of the game. Nice move down the left. Middleton gets the ball across, cuts it back by Ajaria to Murphy, who shoots, but it was right at the keeper. So certainly wasn't the best of performances. You certainly can't say we were ever looking like we were going to lose a goal. Never mind the game.
I don't think. You know me, Derek. I try to be positive. We certainly controlled the match. And the clear-cut chances we did make, we should have put the game to bed a lot earlier than we did, let's be honest. And thankfully, they got that second goal, and it was 2-0, and it did make it, a lot more comfortable for us in the next leg. Yep.
Going into the second leg, it was Tuesday the 17th of July. It was again against Shkupi in Macedonia, and it was a 0 each draw, and that obviously meant we went through 2-0 on aggregate. Just before the game, I want to mention something that I mentioned on Twitter. There's a video came out of the team training on the park beforehand, and I can't imagine nobody's seen it by now, but Steven Gerrard with a back heel touch in training, that was like some sort of Jedi mind trick. How in God's name did he do that?
Derek, I've watched that clip, I reckon, about 20 times, and I've showed it to some people who are not Rangers fans, and straight away they say, "Doc, that's been edited, that's been doctored." It is one of the most bizarre things I've seen in a long time, especially on a football field, because the ball basically goes at a right angle for him to flick it round, which is absolutely incredible. So, in my mind, he meant it all the way. You know what I mean? But as you say, absolutely bizarre. If anybody that's not seen it, you should just go and have a wee look. You'll get plenty of footage on it on Twitter and stuff like that to have a look. But it's absolutely bizarre the way that ball moves and the way he flicks it right round, his back and out. Absolutely sensational.
The only thing I can think of is that the player that's in the foreground is a lot closer to the ball than we think.
Right.
Gerrard's missed it completely, and it's actually deflected off the player. That's the only way I can see how that works. But
no, he meant it all the way down.
One thing we're not going to skip over here, because I'm absolutely raging about it, and quite rightly so. Most of the fans are that I've kind of seen are as well. Is that the fans there's been lots of stories and lots of videos of how amazing our fans were over in Macedonia. There was youngsters, there was other guys getting involved with the fans, and we were sharing drinks and sharing shirts and all that kind of thing. But obviously it's came out as one guy decides to racially abuse a child. There's no other way of describing it. It was a racial abuse of a child, and it looks as if he's filmed it and he's put it online, and somebody's been named about it. I don't know if that is the right guy. I really don't care at this point. He's deleted all his profiles if it is him anyway, but I just do not understand the rationale of some fans who go away and have spoiled it for everyone. Quite rightly, we're going to see the media now put Rangers in a bad light for this, and they're obviously an agenda with the media, because they never shown any of the good stuff, but with the fans pre this incident happening, they just shown that instant. So there's obviously, we all know there's an agenda in this country with the media. We don't need to give the media in this country excuses, do we?
Derek, it was disgusting. Let's be honest, it was absolutely disgusting. And we've spoken about it on our podcast. It must be about 100 times. Do fans not realise, right now, the whole action was shocking, whether or not he was wearing a bloody black bin bag, but the fact that, the fans are representing the club, Derek, and
yep.
As you say, the media will try and will pick up on the slightest wee thing to paint us in a bad light. And that was they would have loved that. Let's be honest, they would have loved that, right on it. And the stupidity of certain people, to think that it wouldn't be picked up online and shown everywhere. It was disgusting what he said, absolutely shocking. I want absolutely nothing to do with it. And, how somebody could think that would be acceptable to post online as well is absolutely beyond me. It really is.
I mean, it's more the fact that if the media are going to print something negative about us anyway, well, we know that, and then we can just tell them to fuck off because they're just being biased, and we know they are. But then you don't have a leg to stand on, and you can't hold the moral high ground when something like this happens. So it just baffles me. I mean, quite rightly, most of our fans have basically said it's shocking. The guy should be, jailed for it. And
it doesn't matter, Derek. When it comes to us, we are all tarred with the same brush.
Exactly.
Let's be honest.
Exactly. But what I want to say is Rangers have obviously, quite rightly, have asked the police in Scotland to look into this and see what we can do to try and ID the guy. As I said, most fans have condemned it online. However, I've seen one fan try to say that, well, we don't know, who taking the video, and maybe somebody got a hold of his phone and done that, and we don't really know, and tried to say, he wasn't part of the Rangers fan contingent that was over there. That's bollocks. He was. And I'm not going to apologise to any Rangers fan for pulling up other fans for their disgusting behaviour like that, and I'm not going to try and sweep it under the carpet either by saying I'm fed up about fans pulling other fans up for this. I seen one fan say, and I had a word with him on online as well, and I don't know if he listens to the podcast or not. I'm certainly not going to apologise. He basically said, just get a fucking bye, and I wish everybody would shut up about it. No, until we start self-policing, this is going to get highlighted by me especially time and time again, and I don't care if it means that our listenership goes down, because I will pull fans up about it, because there is no place in that for our club, is there?
No, definitely not, Derek. And as I say, I'll stress it again, when you are at one of your games supporting home or away, or you've got one of your shirts on, you're representing the club.
Yep.
And you're representing the other supporters, and think about it before you do anything stupid or say anything stupid. It will get picked up instantly, and everybody will hear about it, and it's just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And I was really ashamed, and I was really disgusted when I seen it, and I'm glad that none of us retweeted it, because it was that bad that I don't think it deserved to be retweeted, Derek. So.
No.
No, shocking.
We'll move on anyway, because it's getting my blood boiling. But anyway, we lined up the same starting 11 with the exception of Jack came in for Arfield, who picked up a knock in the first game, which is the reason why he went off, which is a bit disappointing because he certainly is a bit of a playmaker in midfield and getting things going forward.
And I do think we missed him in that game, Derek, away from home, his experience, but I'll let you get into it.
Yep. I missed the first 10 minutes of the game because of various issues with internets, but watched it back on RTV, and certainly I never really missed much anyway. On the 12th minute, there was a great cross from the right from Tavernier. Murphy just missed it with his head. Basically, if there was contact, it was in the back of the net.
I know, yep.
15th minute, decent shot by Shkupi, forcing a save from the forcing McGregor to make a save to put it out for the corner. 16th minute, long thunderbolt shot by Shkupi, forcing a good save from McGregor again. Then another close range shot was saved. Windass had a chance in the 24th minute. He had a shot which was forcing a decent save from the keeper. 27th minute, there was a lovely 30-yard ball from Goldson into the box, just snuffed out by the defender, preventing Windass getting the ball. Again, that's one of these things, if he had got the ball, he would have rounded the keeper in. 42nd minute, there was a good cross and a bad header from Morelos. 44th minute, there was a good cross from Tavernier right up to Morelos. Again, bad control by him, couldn't get a shot off, nor could he get the ball back to a keeper. I don't know what he was thinking. I remember it clearly. He was caught in two minds, I think.
Yeah.
So into half time, it was still 0-0. Ultimately, the job looked more or less done. I think Shkupi, when I picked up the game initially, Shkupi were probably the more dominant team. They were getting on us, and that was just when they had the couple of chances where forcing saves out of McGregor. And I was starting to get a wee bit worried about this, but ultimately we then started to control the game, and apart from them, we never really looked like losing a goal, apart from maybe once in the second half, which we'll get onto. What's your thoughts in the first half?
We really should have buried the game early, Derek, with the chances they had. Morelos, two great chances to score. Jamie Murphy as well, who I was really shocked by. When the balls into the box were fantastic, Derek. The delivery was superb. You can't fault that. The finishing was very poor, and I was quite surprised with Murphy missing the chances. And as you say, Morelos, he's not at the races at all just now. Really should have done better, especially with the header. And he had one as well where he had a header to the back post where he had nobody on him, and even if he'd have got the ball back across the goal, I think it was either Windass or Murphy that were just waiting for, the tap in, but he just ballooned the ball right over the bar. He didn't even get, he wasn't able to get a cushioned header or anything. It was, as you say, that team had a couple of chances. I, at that point, still didn't feel like we were under a lot of pressure, Derek. And then you're about to get in the second half where I thought we completely controlled the game. In the second half, I was actually looking back at the time, you're getting a wee bit frustrated, but I think that comes a lot with listening to people, on social media. I shouldn't go into social media as well as watch a game. I really shouldn't, because you do start to say to yourself, there's other people that are thinking that we're not playing well and all that. But actually, when you think about it, the second half was an extremely professional performance away in Europe. And they did control the game in the second half. And again, we should have killed the game off and we should have won it, but we didn't. But I'll let you get in the second half.
I generally don't go on social media while I'm watching the game as well, because
I shouldn't.
Well, the point is, my stream's normally about 5 minutes behind social media in the real life. So.
Right.
Anyway, the 53rd minute, there was good play from Windass, hitting a shot inside the box, which was curling in, but it forced a great save from the keeper. Bounced out to Morelos, who couldn't control it, but it was ruled offside anyway. One of the features of Morelos all last year, and it started again this year, he can't read the line. He's always offside.
I know.
In the 63rd minute, Windass came off and Middleton came on. I think he was taken off lightly as a precaution, as he got booked just before that, and he was getting a wee bit het up as well. So, but this is a frustrating.
It was a shame, Derek, I was about to say, because I actually thought that Windass was getting right into the game at that point. Just after it, just before he had that shot and goal where he was unlucky, you could tell that he was saying to himself, I'm getting a bit of space here, I'm getting a bit. But as you say, it was they were being a wee bit sort of heavy-handed with him in there. He was starting to look a wee bit annoyed, and as you say, he'd just been booked, I think that Gerrard to say to himself, look, he's obviously the one that's been targeted here and he might blow, so maybe, a good precaution. But I actually thought that Windass played quite well, and again he got slated online, so what do I know?
Exactly. I think he's lost the fans, and I think that's because he's that frustrating, but
yes,
that's one of these things. 66 minute Tavernier free kick from 30 yards, up and over the wall, but a comfortable dive-in save from the keeper. It was good to get it on target anyway. 71st minute, Candeas came off, Ajaria came on. 71st minute, straight away, Ajaria put a good ball into the box to Middleton, takes a touch and then shoots wide. It was a good chance on the same.
Yep.
73rd minute, Morelos tries a shot from 20 yards, high and wide. He had options to pass. I think there was a few players quite frustrated him about that. And the chance I was talking about earlier on that Shkupi did have was on the 87th minute. It was a great save from Shire.
Oh, fantastic.
After a quick break and a shot inside of the box. But that was should have been 2-1, 1-0 on the night, that one. And in the 90th minute, Murphy came off and Halliday came on. So really, as you said, it was a professional performance. And after the game, obviously, Steven Gerrard was quite happy with the game, but he says he wasn't happy with the final third and were severely lacking. So it's good that we've got a manager who's not going to sugarcoat things to the press and say it like it is. Because I think players have been, the modern day player anyway, especially, is too protected in the media, and I think managers need to understand what the fans are feeling, and if a manager can see that himself and that he's going to have a go at players in the media, that's good.
I think the one thing that showed me, Derek, was when we looked at the team and we looked at the bench. I think it was blatantly obvious that we basically only had one striker in the whole of the squad. I know we've got young Zach Grudden, but you really can't rely on a young laddie like that to come in, especially a big game like that, and make an impact. And when we looked at what options that we had up front, because it's no working for Morelos now, we didn't really have anything else, did we? And that's what's made it. It's we're going out and we're signing a lot of midfielders and we're signing wingers and stuff like that, but we really need a striker. As you said at the start of the show, maybe Sadiq is going to be the answer. I still think we're light. Even with him in there, I think we need another striker, and we need maybe go for a wee bit of experience, Derek. Maybe we need a striker that's in his 30s, that we're maybe only, in his early 30s, that's been about a while and knows the game really well. Whether or not he's got something teed up, I don't know, but we definitely need another striker in there. I just feel that maybe the older head in a game like that, especially away from home, would have, either scored or, would have done more. I like Morelos, Derek. I know you're still no sure about him. I just think he's really low in confidence at the moment, like majorly low in confidence. And maybe a wee stint or knowing that there's somebody on the bench ready to come on for him at any minute would maybe, change his luck for him, but it's very frustrating at the moment.
I think, I said it for a majority of last year, is that he's too moody. It's his attitude that's the issue, and I think there's maybe a case in point with that, where he knows he's going to be first start all the time, and he needs somebody there to give him a kick up the arse to fight for his position, and that's what Gerrard has said. He wants two players for every position, so that's might be an option, but to be honest, I think he's done. You can't, what we were talking about earlier on about, getting, walking down the tunnel and feeling the atmosphere, and I think he's maybe one of the ones with the jerseys maybe too big for him. The guy has got talent. He's got potential, but we don't need potential. We need an actual player right now. And a lot of people made the excuse last year about the fact that he had been playing in Finland. He's never had any sort of time off. Well, he's had time off now. He's had a pre-season, and now he's starting the same shit again.
I think you'll find that was me that said that, Derek.
I think a lot of people have said that,
I actually get the feeling that he has maybe him and his agent have been reading their own press too much, possibly, Derek, and they both think that this guy should be playing at a much higher level than what he is, and maybe he's got the wee attitude that, he doesn't have to try as much to be a standout. I don't know. As I say, what do I know about it? I do like him. I do think he's a player. I do think that we play a lot better with him in our team. But as you say, a bit like Windass, he's very, very frustrating, especially when the two of them at this moment in time are extremely frustrating, and they're our two main forward players. It's difficult to watch sometimes. I just hope he gets his act together very soon and gets back to scoring goals again.
Yeah. Or we need to sell him, as that's what I've said about a lot of these. I think at the time, if there's been any truth in this, £11 million bid from China, is that with the board have tried to do Billy Big Bollocks, saying we don't need to sell these players at expensive things, but form is temporary. A valuation like that and a solid offer like that only comes along every so often. We'll
get a bid of 13 million for him at the end of the season, mate. Don't worry.
Anyway, that leaves us into the next round. We are playing Croatian side NK Osijek. The first game is this Thursday coming, so that'll be, tomorrow by the time this pod comes out. That's a 19:45 kick-off. The first leg is obviously in Croatia.
Yeah.
Now, a wee bit I want to say about this beforehand, because I've put it out on Twitter and people disagreed, which is fair enough, but obviously Thomas Cook have announced that they are not going to be running any travel for our fans as part of their travel club duties, and it's left a lot of fans absolutely raging about this. Now, I'm not defending them, however, I think people have maybe flew off at the deep end without really knowing the facts, and certainly I used to work for Thomas Cook for 5 years. I do know a bit about the travel industry and how things are organised like this. I'm not saying this is gospel, but this obviously may be the case, is the fact that tour company profit margins are surprisingly very, very small. They're round about a 10% profit margin. So really, if you pay £1,000 for a holiday, they're only going to make £100 off it, or round about there. When I was leaving Thomas Cook, they were selling off their aircraft and they were entering into leasing agreements, so I'm pretty sure they still only lease their aircraft, and that makes a massive difference, because they don't have just planes lying about. They need to go to a company to say, have you got a spare plane? And bearing in mind it was only a week's notice they were getting on the destination, where they were going to either Croatia or was it Moldova, I think it was, the other place. So, and what I would also say is, given the fact that they're not travelling, they're clearly not contractually obliged to provide these this service to Rangers. So I'll put this to you, Dave. You're the owner of a company which provides a service. You're not contractually obliged to provide that service. A job comes up that will lose you money as a company due to the increased cost of it. Do you A, provide the service and just take the hit and lose money? B, provide the service and pass on the exorbitant cost to the customer, which there may be an uptake, but due to the increased cost, customers will likely not buy the service and you'll ultimately lose the money? Or C, don't provide the service, which doesn't lose you any money and it's not a risk for you? If you're a company,
I'll turn it about, Derek. In this one instance, did you really think that they would not get a full plane Rangers fans if there was tickets available, regardless what the price was?
I think so, because I think the price for, I can't remember, somebody said it, I think online, the price that was getting quoted for the flight and transfers for the Shkupi game was something like £650 plus. I think even somebody said it might have been up to £1,000. I know they never ran a flight also to that. So, as I said, I'm not defending them, but you wouldn't get a full plane on that.
I don't know about that, Derek, because I would maybe disagree. Even at those incredibly inflated prices, I think there are hundreds and hundreds of fans out there that would pay silly money to go away in Europe, especially what's happened to us over the last 6 years. I think they would have got a playing full. But again, it's one of these things. It's we can't see in there, but I genuinely think that if they'd have done their homework, I think they would have got a playing full there and back, regardless the price that they were paying. But again, it's neither here nor there. We can't comment on that now. I can see what you're talking about, Derek. I completely understand that. But I think going with the support that we've got and guys desperate to go away in Europe, I think we could have got a playing full for that one. But it's one of these things.
But I mean, I seen one fan wanted Thomas Cook to reserve 2 flights, one for Croatia and one for Moldova. Actually wanted them to reserve 2 flights.
No, you can't.
Yeah,
do that.
And then cancel it at the last minute. But the point is they could have they only had to have one aircraft, so they could have went to the leasing company and said, right, give us an aircraft. But what's on top of that is they've got to pay for the stand slot at each airport. They've got to pay for the ground crew, the fuel, the actual cabin crew. They've got to pay for all that in advance, and then just turn around a week before it and says, oh no, we'll need to cancel that. It doesn't work like that. You can't. I mean, it's an expensive game, as I've highlighted with the profit margins, and that's why I can imagine, and that's what the fans liaison officer did actually say, that the Thomas Cook said, is because of trying to secure an aircraft given the time of the year and also the costs of it. I can imagine, as I said, with Thomas Cook only leasing aircraft, there may not have been an aircraft to lease. And yes, I can fully understand what is the point of having this travel club if there's not going to be flights and all that kind of thing provided. However, the travel club was apparently not for providing flights. It's for securing yourself a ticket or having a better chance of getting a ticket. So I think fans' expectations sometimes are a wee bit, like, the pricing's exorbitant there, because if one fan was wanting to reserve 2 flights, one for Croatia and one for Moldova, I mean, that's just when people are getting nonsensical about things and not actually realistically thinking about it. So that's just my view. As I said, that's my educated view about the situation. I'm not defending Thomas Cook. Yes, I can imagine the club, as I said, they've been in extensive talks with Thomas Cook over that, and it's something that they need to sort out. And we're going to be in this situation with getting short notice, really, until we get the group stages, or if we get to the group stages. So we'll need to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, on to the actual side itself. They were apparently beaten by St Johnstone in a pre-season friendly this year. However, they did put out PSV from the Europa League last year. One benefit to ourselves, though, is their star striker Gabriel Boban has been ruled out for both games. Okay, well that's very positive then, Derek, if that's the case. Yep. Going by the way that Morelos was playing, like, excuse me, like we were speaking, it's maybe a blessing for them if he was going to be missing too, but sorry, a blessing for us if he was going to be missing, I should say. Well, hopefully they're not going to be as good. We've heard a lot of horror stories that they're a great team and they've done this and they've done that and things like that, but hopefully we'll be professional enough and we've done our homework on the team that we're going to be playing. Short notice, Derek, we'd only find out a few weeks before, like a week before who we're going to be playing, so let's just hope that the scouts have done their homework and we know exactly, and we've got a game plan set out and stuff like that. Going on this game, Derek, we've actually had a question. There's actually folk out there listening to us. Wow. And it's with regards to our European campaign. It comes from a Big C at BigC_net, and I'll ask you this question, Derek: how far do you think that we can go in Europe? And also a marquee signing before the window shuts, ? Who would you like to see realistically? So just on the first one, first of all, Derek, what do you think about Europe? Are you saying to yourself, realistically, that you think that we can at least get to the group stages in this tournament? We're winning it.
What is it you've got mixed with Pepsi Max in it, mate?
Obviously not knowing really much about Osijek. I mean, they're maybe looking on the fact that they did knock out PSV last year. Don't know much about them. It's going to be a difficult game, as all European games are going to be. I think you've got to look at where we are in relation to Europe. But we've been out of Europe really for 6 years, 7 years. So these players that we've got, none of them have really had a European experience at all, apart from maybe McGregor.
And Katic, because he'll have played against this team already last season, so I'm hoping that we've maybe used him also, with his experience of playing against them, at least give the guys an idea of what sort of team we're going to be playing. They're a really physical team. They're a team that like to use the wings. They're a team that likes to have the player possession game or whatever. So I feel slightly more comfortable with the fact that we do have that guy playing in defence, Derek.
Yeah.
And he will have, because that's going to be a huge thing for the likes of him. Because if you think about it, if we were to take, if a young, up and coming defender who had been capped for Scotland, that we had high hopes for, went and signed for a team, let's say in, I don't know, for example, Portugal, and that Portuguese team were drawn against St Johnstone in the Europa League. You'd like to think that this guy would be like, oh, well, I've played against St Johnstone umpteen times and I've always done well against them. I know what they're going to be like. So I feel a good bit better that a lot better that we've got him playing in defence against this team. I don't know if you think the same.
Yeah, I mean, certainly at least there's somebody there with that experience against them. But in terms of how far we can going to get, I mean, obviously if we get through this round, we are up against either Maribor, our old foes, or Chikura Sakari. I don't know who the hell they are, but
no.
Certainly it was the best draw we could have hoped for. I think there's even a round after that. I think it's like the playoff round after that, and that's going to be, we are going to be seeded for that apparently, if we do get through both ties. I reckon we'll get through this game, this round. It'll be difficult against Maribor, I think, because they've certainly got pedigree. They're quite recently a Champions League team, aren't they? Yeah. They've beat us before. I think they've beat Celtic. They've beat other teams as well, bigger teams than that. So
it's just that I will be delighted, Derek, to get through this round and go on to play Maribor. I think that is going to be it's a benchmark for us to see how far that we've come in, this pre-season. If we manage to get through and play Maribor, who, as you say, are going to be a top side, if we can put in a good performance against Maribor, I think that will, show a lot as to how far we've come in a short space of time under Steven Gerrard. So that's why I think, obviously, I would be delighted for us to get to the group stages. I still don't know if we have got enough players in our team, quality players, to do that, but I really hope they do.
Yeah, there was a question there as well about a marquee signing. Obviously, there's a few names getting popped about, like Skirtle was it? No, it wasn't Skirtle. I'm talking.
Yeah, no, it was. But he was mentioned a lot as we were going to be signing him. He's playing in Turkey at the moment, but obviously he'll be on huge wages and things like that.
And I think
his name's still getting bandied about, especially with the whole Besiktas apparently interested in Morelos. There was a lot of talk of, maybe there's going to be a swap involved or whatever, but I think that Skirtle's wages would be far too much for us at the moment, Derek, so I think that's a non-starter.
And I think the name Solanke's getting bandied about as well, which apparently he's not part of the clear out that Klopp's looking to have. So again, that'll be another wage issue. So, I mean, define a marquee signing for us these days. I mean, if you're looking at that type of name, then it's only going to be a loan. Surely their wages are going to be astronomical anyway. The only hope is a big club would say, bugger it, we just want to get him out on loan to get some experience and. I think, Derek, the sort of marquee signing that we can hope to sign is somebody who you already mentioned at the start of the pod. Davis. Somebody like Steve Davis, who has got the club at heart. That, he, as I say, I know I said to you that, he's maybe, it might not happen, but I think he, where we are at the moment, would probably be about the best that we could hope for, I think. Because the guy is an absolute class act, and I just think that if there was going to be a marquee signing or someone of his, of that quality, we wouldn't be able to afford them. Whereas
Steve Davis with the club at heart would maybe, take a wage cut to come back and, play for us. But again, we just have to see what magic Mr. Gerrard can conjure up, with his contacts and things like that. It's I'm not sure about a marquee signing. I know that's what all the fans are desperate for, but
right, just to round out the games to come here is obviously the second leg at home to Osijek is on Thursday the 2nd of August. That's a 19:45 kick-off as well, and obviously we do have a friendly against Wigan in between that, which is this Sunday coming. That's a 1500 kick-off. I would have got tickets for it, however the wife's away for getting her bridesmaids dressed, fitted for my sister's wedding, so I'm on daddy duties that day. So
okay.
The first game of the season, obviously, as was highlighted before, is on Sunday the 5th of August away to Aberdeen. 1300 kick-off, and it was moved from the Saturday because it was moved for TV coverage. So
yes.
Yep. So games coming thick and fast as we like them.
Yeah, definitely, and we just hope that we do the business on Thursday night. I'm actually quite looking forward to Derek. Maybe that's a bad thing, but I'm quite looking forward to that one. So, but I may miss the second half because I'm supposed to be working. I've asked for time off so I can at least watch the whole match, but I might have to rely on your up to the minute text commentary when I'm at work to let me know what's happening, Derek. So
well, mine depending on what stream I get, I'll be 5 minutes behind. Right, so we will now go to the classic match.
And then it is. The final whistle's gone. Rangers have won the European Cup Winners' Cup.
Right, Dave, we covered Aberdeen in the last game. You've got Aberdeen again in the last game. In the last podcast even.
Yeah.
You've got them again this week.
Now, I would just like to let our small band of listeners know that I've actually worked my ass off the last few days because Derek has been moaning at me. He's like the wife, just to actually do some work for this podcast. It's shocking that, I've got kind of just turn up and talk, but I'm only joking. We have been thinking about ways to change the classic match, and I think, Derek, what our plan is that we're going to have a selection of games and we're going to get our listeners out there to pick what games that they want. So I think that will start in the next podcast. I'll do a few more so that you've got a bit more. I kind of picked the season, Derek, where we were absolutely sensational. It was the 1998-99 season under Dick Advocaat when we won the treble. Those are certainly sort of 4 games that I've covered. This is one of the games from them. The reason I chose it, when I was looking back at the matches, I can actually remember being here, and it was just it's this sort of hex that we've got over Aberdeen. I think there's only been one slip up, but this hex, Aberdeen, that it doesn't matter how good Aberdeen can play and how much they can be all over us, they just could not buy a win at Ibrox at all. And this was another one, and it was away. I just enjoyed it because even looking back on it, it was just a great feeling when we scored the second goal, to put us, 2-1 up in the game. The feeling that I got in the stadium as well as watching it back was great. But I'll run through the Rangers team on that day. The game took place on the 14th of November 1998. The Rangers team that day was Antti Niemi in goals. Our back 4 was Sergio Perini, Arthur Newman, Colin Hendry, Scott Wilson, Barry Ferguson, Andre Kanchelskis, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst and George Alberts in midfield, and up front it was Rod Wallace and Jonathan Johansson. Now the Aberdeen team on that day, again, looking back, I've got a lot of international players in the team. We had Bandy Jim in goals, Perry, you had Derek White, Smith, Craig Hignett, who had a successful career down in England before he came to Aberdeen, Ian Jess, of course, and then Mike Newell, again fresh for the English Premiership, playing for Blackburn Rovers, a very good striker experience. Kiriakov, who, Derek, I don't know if you can remember this, but we played a Champions League qualifying game against I think it was Anorthosis Famagusta. And he was the sort of standout player for them against us, a sort of ball-winning midfielder. He was Bulgarian, I believe. Aberdeen actually bought him after that. He was playing. Anderson, Rowson and Robbie Winters up front. So, a very good Aberdeen team. And it was Alec Miller, who was the manager of Aberdeen back then, I completely forgot about. But going into the game, Aberdeen on the front foot, and as early as the first minute, they had a cross from the edge of the box and a header by Kiriakov, smallest man on the pitch, for the edge of the box, but thankfully it was straight at Antti Niemi. Then Rangers had their first attack of the game in the 5th minute. Arthur Newman to Jonathan Johansson on the left. He beats his man and he put a great cross to the edge of the box, and it was a first time shot but on Andre Kanchelskis, an absolute thunderbolt. It had this huge dip on it when he hit it, thundered it, but just past the post, just over. It was fantastic. It'd have been like goal of the season if it had went in. Really unlucky with that. Then Scott Wilson, who it was one of I don't know if it was his first game or one of his first games, he was a bit nervous looking. He completely miscontrolled the ball. It was picked up by Mike Newell, who really should have scored for Aberdeen, put it just wide, so we got off with that one. Then just about a minute after that, straight up the other end of the park, George Alberts with a shot just outside the box, unlucky. But then on the 8th minute we actually took the lead.
That's got away with it. Here he comes again. This time Van Bronckhorst much let fly. He does! Glorious strike! A difficult angle. Not so easy with the goalkeeper having narrowed it, defenders to the side of him. Yet he contrives to keep it low, keep it controlled. And that's a perfect example of a technically sound and disciplined player.
Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, he picked up the ball at the corner of the box. The ball just fell to him. He took a touch inside and just unleashed this absolute rasping shot low past Jim Leighton. Absolute peach of goal, superb. Van Bronckhorst, a great shot on him again. We forget this a lot when we think back about him. Fantastic goal for Rangers to put us 1-0 off, and 1-0 up. Sorry, and then a couple of minutes later, Jonathan Johansson, really good. He was just an up-and-coming player at the time as well. He sort of shrugged off one defender and shrugged off another defender. Managed to get a shot and goal. Very good save by Jim Leighton. I was a big critic of Jim Leighton, Derek. I really was. He had a fantastic game in this one that I've totally forgot about. Then there was a corner for Rangers not too long after that, and a volley by Sergio Perini of all people, and he pulled off this incredible save. But Jim Leighton, I don't know how the hell he'd done it. Perini must have been absolutely raging, because it'd have probably been about the best goal he'd ever scored for Rangers. The volley, a tremendous save by Jim Leighton. And then sort of 5 minutes after that, Alberts again picks up the ball on the left hand side and fires this huge cross right across the other side, straight into the path of Andre Kanchelskis. And this is what I loved about Kanchelskis. His first touch was just phenomenal, and the ball was so high and so fast, but he basically took the ball one touch and he never lost stride at all. He just went flying, and the ball just seemed to stick to his boot, and he just kept going. He ran in on the box and hit a shot. Again, it would have been sensational, just wide. Then another chance, Jonathan Johansson with a cross and a glancing header by Rod Wallace, and another incredible save by Jim Leighton. But then Aberdeen started getting back into it after that, Derek. We had our chances. Maybe Aberdeen thought, oh well, Leighton's pulled off all these saves, it's maybe going to be our day after all. Ian Jess was suddenly 1-on-1 with Antti Niemi. He stood tall. Thankfully for us, Jess hit the ball straight at him. Then just about 5 minutes before half time, another incredible save by Jim Leighton for a shot for Rod Wallace again. Rod Wallace must have been raging with him. As I say, I can't remember Jim Leighton having a better game actually than this. And then just before half time, a wee fright where Craig Hignett has a shot, and it just skiffed the top of the bar, Derek, right over Niemi. Didn't see it, skiffed the bar. And that was maybe a wee sort of, a wee bit of doubt. But the half-time whistle blown, we should at least have been about 4-0 up at that point. Stefan Guivars then came on for Jonathan Johansson for the second half, because JJ, apart from that one shot, had a bit of a poor game. But then into the second half, sort of first attack, Rod Wallace just misses a cross, a sort of back post cross for Arthur Newman that he flicked across. Then George Alberts had a great curl sort of cross pass to Stefan Givars on a plate, heads it wide. Don't know how the hell he missed that. Incredible. But then after that, that's when Aberdeen came back into it and they actually got the equaliser.
And that's a great equaliser. Ian Jess has done that so often against Rangers. He picked it up and Aberdeen have deserved that for the way that they've commanded midfield so much in this game. His third goal in a row for the club. Picked it up beautifully.
Ian Jess scored an absolutely tremendous goal. Fantastic. It's a half volley on the turn, just inside the box. It was a sensational goal for Aberdeen to go 1-1, and then it was basically all Aberdeen after that. And I can remember thinking back then, we missed all these chances in the first half. They're actually going to beat us, because just a few minutes after that, Jess had a fantastic chance as well, and it was 1-on-1 with the keeper, and he shot just wide of the post. Mike Newell again had another chance about 5 minutes after that. We really should have scored for point blank, missed it. We were losing out in midfield at that point, and to be fair to Dick Advocat, he noticed that and he rectified it by taking George Alberts off, believe it or not, who had a very quiet game, and he brought Ian Ferguson on just to try and get that wee bit of dominance in there. And thankfully it did work, because on the 82nd minute we actually managed to get the winning goal.
Here's Kanchelskis. I want to go and somebody has! What a wonderful goal! The Russian scything down that defence there with a brilliant, electrifying burst. It was pace and determination that took him here.
Barry Ferguson to Andre Kanchelskis, who ran at sort of two defenders to the edge of the box and then just shoots. Fantastic low shot past Jim Leighton. It was just great. It was great play by Kanchelskis. You just knew when he was getting the ball, he was either going to, he was just going to either get into the box, have a shot, or at least try and get a cross in. Really direct play, and at that point that just knocked the stuffing right out of Aberdeen, because for the remaining sort of 10 minutes we were all over them. Barry Ferguson with a great run, and it beat about 4 players all around him, still managed to get his shot away. Unfortunately it was Jim Leighton, and then again right at the end Kanchelskis had another shot which was just high and wide as well. So that's how the game finished, Derek. It was a real sort of battle. We should have had the game wrapped up in the first half. Aberdeen came right back into it in the second, but again we seem to have this hex over them. We had this dominance, we had this confidence against them that we knew that we were still going to win, and that is what happened in that game. So again, if you get the chance, you should go back and watch it. It was a great game to watch, real rivalry there, both teams really going for it, and just a really enjoyable to watch, and brought back a lot of memories for me, because I was at the match and I can remember it as soon as I started watching it I knew what was going to happen. So great stuff. I don't know about you, Derek, can you remember much of that game?
Not really, to be honest, but I can't really remember much about most games. So, but watching back the game, it was a fantastic contest between two teams that were going at it. And fortunately, we outfought them, and change a wee change of tactics by the little general there, and it came off for us. So fantastic. As Dave said, we are going to change the classic match about a bit. So if you've ever listened to the Something to Wrestle podcast with Bruce Pritchard, you know that they put a wee poll up on Twitter every so often, and they allow the fans to choose what they're going to cover. So that's what we're going to do. So maybe about a week or so before we plan to do the next podcast, we will put out a poll, and we'll make sure it's the pinned tweet as well, and whatever wins is what Dave will cover. Excellent. So now time for the news.
Oh, here we go. Oh no, it's alright, we're not that bit yet.
Bit of shocking news to start off with. Unfortunately, that former player David Hagan has revealed he is battling motor neurons disease at aged only 45. Obviously, we know from Fernando Rickson and other players that have had it, it's just a terrible thing to get. And
yes,
it's just shocking. Again, at such a young age.
I know it is, and it's. David Hagan is a guy who's only like a couple of years older than me, a bit like Fernando Rickson, Derek, and I remember him clearly playing for us. He also had a very good career. He played for Falkirk as well, was a very good player for them also, so I know their fans are absolutely gutted as well at what's happening. We just hope he keeps fighting, and we wish him all the best, Derek. But it's tragic news, it really is, and shocking news for a guy that we all, a guy that we all remember as being, a really fit young guy, and probably still is a fit guy now,
Yeah, I mean, certainly part of the 9-in-a-row squad as well. So
yes,
thoughts are, and prayers are with him and his family.
Yes, definitely.
Next thing, Dave King issued his annual pre-season statement, which he said he was going to do. It was quite wide-ranging. He had a go at Sports Direct, Mike Ashley, the takeover panel. He explained about the maintenance of Ibrox and the Hummel Training Centre, especially the fact that was more extensive work was needed done to that than expected. So I've quite liked the cut of his and Rangers' jib when it came to statements over the last 6 months, so it was good to see as well. He wasn't taking anything lightly and he was going after the right people.
Yep.
Surprisingly though, he never mentioned anything about the SPFL Murdoch McLennan issue, but that was kind of half dealt with in a couple of previous statements anyway, wasn't it? So
yep.
One of the things he also kind of mentioned, and it's had an outcome, is Rangers put an appeal in against the SFA charges that were basically trumped up against our UEFA licence, which they bloody issued.
Yes.
Our appeal was upheld, meaning that if the SFA want to progress this any further, they'll need to take it to the Court of Arbitration for Sport. It's going to cost them a 6-figure sum to do so, and the maximum they can fine us at the end would be $5,000. They could also ban us, apparently. That's one of the punishments they could offer. However, they're never going to do that anyway. Saying that it's the SFA, I wouldn't put it past them. Basically, the reason why Rangers taking it to the appeal, and the reason why it was eventually upheld, was it was on the back of the 5-way agreement, which the SFA agreed with at the time. Unbelievably,
Exactly.
It was basically about anything that came to light after the 5-way agreement was signed can't be used against them. Can't be used against Rangers, which they've tried to do. So, quite rightly, the judge said fuck off. So
yes, good.
I'm paraphrasing there, obviously, but
yeah.
Next thing we've got here is finally, Dave, the new strips were launched.
The new strips were launched, Derek. Delighted, really pleased with them all. I just wish there was a wee bit more clarity as to actually when we can buy the bloody things. That's the only thing.
Yes, so a classic blue home top, which is actually looking cracking. The white away top with a red and blue sash.
Now watch what you're saying here, Derek.
Yes, and the Mandarin orange. Third top.
You had to say the O word, didn't you? You had to say the O word. That's just you're just a bigot. That's all you are.
What, Osijek? What's bigoted about them?
Absolutely delighted with the strips, Derek. I think they're all cracking. I know a lot of people were desperate for us to get our Mandarin strips, but I love the home strip, Derek. I think it's absolutely cracking. I'll definitely be buying that one. All three are cool as anything, but I love the home strip. I think it's really, really smart, and I'm delighted that that's how it's turned out, because there's been a lot of speculation, hasn't there? And there's been a lot of mock-ups put up online of what it's going to look like and stuff like that. So I'm finally delighted, and I'd like to say, Derek, that I was on Hummel's official tweet, because they took a lot of tweets that Rangers fans have sent them, and they mashed them all up into the shape of a shirt. Did you see that?
I've seen that, yeah.
And one of my tweets is on there because any time they put anything out, I was always one of the first ones in there to say, what's happening with the Rangers strips? What's happening with the Rangers strip? Announce the Rangers strip. So, yes, I made it onto there. That's my wee sort of claim to fame with this one. But, no, I'm delighted with them, Derek. They really look the part. They look really smart, and I can't wait to go out and buy one. I just want to know when the hell we can buy one. That's the only thing. So you keep hearing conflicting stories. And then obviously, I think we covered it on the last pod, the thing that's been put out with Sports Direct of
we never thought.
Sorry, right.
Yep. What I was going to say just before that is obviously on the back of the Mandarin orange strip that the Tims are pure raging about it, even to the Who are they raging about it as well? My God. Basically they're raging about it to the extent that they tweeted Hummel's Twitter account stating they are just pandering to the bigotry of the Rangers fans. And they even said, what's orange got to do with the Rangers official colours? And quite rightly, I put back, and several other people put back, what have the Bumblebee top got to do, and Bumblebee and pink top got to do with Celtic?
And black and gold, Derek. Yep. And you could say that we've had a black strip, and it's been my favourite top that we've had out in the last 20 years. You know, I suppose we could say that we had, you know, we've got black in our home socks that we could come away back, but they don't have anything like that. So no. What's that got today? They brought out a bloody pink kit, Derek. What's pink got today? Exactly. It's you know, Hummel aren't stupid. They know that they're going to get record sales of these tops. They are going to be laughing all the way to the bank with this one. They know that. The club knows that. So, you know, it's one of these things. People will make of it what they wish, Derek. It's always going to be the same. But no, I'm delighted. I think the home strip especially is absolutely cracking, and I'm desperate to buy one. Yep. I was hoping today, actually, when I booked the tour for us all to go on it, you know, last month, I thought, well, hopefully the strips will be out and we'll just go into the club shop and get them, but unfortunately it wasn't to be.
No. So what Dave alluded to there with Mike Ashley and Sports Direct, they're playing funny buggers with us again. As we all know, we paid them £3 million to get out the deal, and at the time it was announced that a clause was put into the contract that when we're negotiating with another company for a new distribution deal for this season, Sports Direct were to be given the details so they can get first refusal effectively on it, so they could either match the deal or beat it. Rangers have stated that they
beat it.
Aye.
Sorry. Rangers have stated beat it.
Yes, Rangers stated that they have given them the details. Sports Direct said they haven't. It looks as if Sports Direct want chapter and verse of the deal, which they will never get, because really they only need to give the bottom line that's as far as the Rangers line is concerned, in which I can imagine that's, you know, what it is. Sports Direct applied for a temporary injunction so that the new deal can't get signed and we can't sell kits, and we were to go to court. We did go to court over that. The judge, for some reason, couldn't decide there and then, so he wanted another court session, which will get held at the end of this month, so within the next week apparently. Then a ruling will get dealt with it on then. So I really don't think that it's caused any further delay than what was going to be anyway, because I always thought that it was going to be, you know, the start of August, that the start to mid-August when shirt sales could happen anyway, just given all the circumstances. So it's, you know, I don't understand Sports Direct doing this either, because if they want to match the deal, surely then they just match the deal. Rangers fans are not going to buy from Sports Direct if that's the option anyway, so they're not going to get any money. They're just trying to be awkward, really. They really are. So we'll see what happens.
I'm still flabbergasted today. I went in today with our good friend Ewan before we all met up, Derek, and Ewan was desperate to go in and buy some stuff, especially sort of newborn baby stuff is what he was looking for, which we used to sell in abundance years ago anyway. And we walked into the mega store at Ibrox, and it was just full to the rafters with all of the Puma kits, and still selling them at like £35 a pop, which is still very expensive, I think. And I was actually really quite shocked. I thought that they would have been desperate to sell all this stuff off. I thought Sports Direct would have been desperate to sell it all off as well and put it down, and it's absolutely jam-packed. You can get every single strip, the black one, the red one, the home strip, everything in all sizes, and there's still, hardly anything off them, and I was really quite shocked about that when I went in and seen it. So it's a strange one for me, the whole, it always was a strange one with Sports Direct, but because nobody's going to buy that kit now at all, Derek, now that the Hummel one's out. And they might have had a chance of getting rid of it, or if they'd have been selling it off at dirt cheap prices, but that's not going to happen. It's just a very, very strange situation to be in. So it is.
Yeah, I've noticed that Sports Direct are off their logo on the Rangers website down at the bottom. But certainly today, doing the tour, they haven't taken the Sports Direct advertising down, which is on the bottom of the club deck. So I don't know if that's a still to do thing, but certainly we'll get to the bottom of it eventually, hopefully, within the next week. Next thing, the war of words between Rangers King and the SPFL over Murdoch McLennan continues. As I said, there was a few back and forward statements, with the SPFL giving McLennan their overwhelming support and consider the matter closed. Rangers had called for McLennan to recuse himself from all meetings and stated that this is an issue which involves all SPFL clubs and not just Rangers. Quite rightly so, because it's an incredible defence the SPFL are putting up, given the fact that there are ongoing investigations into the company that McLennan's involved with, and there's clear links there with Dermot Desmond and Celtic. So it's just another case in point of the governance of Scottish football, isn't it? And I noticed that with the just on the note of the SPFL board, there has been a reshuffle with Anne Budge stepping aside and Stuart Robertson stepping aside, who, funnily enough, is replaced by Peter Lawwell. This is an agreement between both Rangers and Celtic that every season or two there'll be one Rangers appointee will be replaced by the Celtic appointee and vice versa, which, to be honest, is quite a weird setup. I would have just thought they would have had one of each on, because Rangers and Celtic are Scottish football, and if the sooner other clubs start to realise that, the better, to be honest. But it's got, for some reason, the Tims are absolutely gloating over this, that the fact that their representatives taken over our representatives' position, but they don't seem to realise the ins and outs of that. Stuart Robertson clearly done fuck all in the SPFL board anyway, because we've still had the same shit for the last 2 years since he was on it. But quite clearly, again, it's funny that Peter Lawwell was put on, because basically what's going to happen is Celtic Lawwell will tell SPFL Lawwell to tell the SFA Lawwell to keep going at Rangers. So it's another one for the books, isn't it?
I know. It's as I say, I was quite disappointed as well, Derek, that there's no anybody on there from us, representing us. But again, we don't know the ins and outs, and as you say, the Moonhowlers are all taking this as something else, and gloating in the fact and all that. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah. On to a player here. Liam Burt has signed a year's extension that will keep him here till the summer of 2019. So a year's extension. Obviously the gaffer and the team see something in him, so it's good to see. Renovations are still ongoing at Ibrox. Obviously we were there today, and the roof was still getting done. There's still no sign back on no Rangers sign and badge back on the top of the Sandy Darden stand yet, which I was quite surprised at. But obviously, if work's ongoing.
Yeah.
And recladding of the external roofs of the Broomlin and Copeland stands have been given the go ahead by Glasgow City Council. No idea when that work's going to be carried out. However, just to put it in perspective, planning permission got submitted on the 15th of December last year, and it only got approved within the last couple of weeks there.
Yeah.
So with the Glasgow City Council, I can imagine if that was the club over the east of the city, that would have been planning permission submitted one day and accepted the next. So
allegedly,
yes. Bit of a strange one here. There was an interview with Steven Gerrard they gave to RTV, and he was talking about one of the centre-backs, the 19-year-old centre-back, and he was clearly making reference to Ross McCrory. And basically saying that him playing in centre-back, that's not his natural position, and him continually playing there could have destroyed his career, in terms of that. And they said it was a careless decision to do. I found that quite astonishing, to be honest, given the fact that it was Murty who put him in that position, and also it was Murty is now back at the club. Is that a kind of sign that he kind of doesn't trust Murty then?
I don't know, Derek. I mean, I think he's saying something that we all know. Personally, don't we? We all know that he's by far a better midfielder than he is a defender, and I'm not saying that he's not a good defender. He is, but he's by far the better sort of holding midfielder. I actually heard something. I'm trying to think what podcast it was. I was listening to. It was maybe a guy. It's just some of the guys in the Heart and Hand podcast that were talking about this, and I've got to agree with it. I do think this guy's a class act, Derek, and I think he's going to be a huge player for us. But we're maybe expecting too much of the guy. Now, I think he came in last season and galvanised the team for us, in a lot of the games. But I still think that he is a young, inexperienced guy. So I just hope that we do the right thing by him. We don't, play him, all the time, or we don't feel that we have to play him all the time. And he gets, he grows and grows into the team, eventually to become a first team player. Because I still don't think right now that he is the finished article. I don't know if you think the same as what I do.
Yeah, I mean, he's still a work in progress, and all the youngsters will be like that to an extent. So he's certainly got potential. He's been in the team, in the first team, and he looks as if he's going to be part of the plans for Gerrard. So it's good to see, absolutely. A couple of non-Rangers related bits of news here is former defender Jean-Alain Boumsong has been given the role to head a committee to reform Cameroon's national team setup. He was born actually in Cameroon, despite him having 27 caps for France. So
yeah, all right, there you go.
Good luck to him.
Yes.
Kenny Miller has been appointed Livingston player manager. I think we mentioned that in the last podcast. He still couldn't help having a wee comment about the fact that Tavernier had been appointed captain and taken over from Lee Wallace, mind you. But I think a lot of speculation was the fact that he was unhappy that Murty was given the role, and he wanted to step in to be the player manager role at Rangers. So I would say good luck to him, but given the fact that he left the club and the fact that he's managing a club that's in the same division of us, no good luck.
I know it's the one thing that that we hope is the likes of he's got Ryan Hardy there. That's the one player that I do want to see play well for them, Derek. I think he's still unfit. I know we said that he was injured, but he's signed their own loan. I think that'll be if Kenny Miller does play him, I think that would be really good for us. So that's as you say, we're. There's a lot of water under the bridge there now, but I just hope that the young Hardy does well under him just for the remainder of the season.
Yep. Andy Little has set to sign a short-term deal with Dumbarton and will join former Rangers player Rory Loylier. Obviously, he was at Stirling Albion and he had received a bad head knock. I think it was about 6 months to 9 months ago. I think he's still on our books as a coach as well, is he not? So
I'm not sure about that one, Derek, to be honest with you.
But anyway, another former Rangers player, Kyle Bartley, has joined West Brom on a 3-year deal. I know there was speculation people wanted him back at the end of last season. So, and I don't know what to say. Can I call him your pal, since you were speaking to him a few weeks ago? But Davy Weir signs with Brighton as a pathway development manager, basically looking after the players they've sent out on loan. Okay. So,
no bad wee gig that, eh?
Well, I don't know. I mean, if he was an assistant to Rangers, now he's a player who looks after a former player who looks after loan players.
Well, there you go. That's it's a funny old game, eh?
Yep. As Dave said, we did have another question here, and that was from.
All the way from Tampa in Florida, I believe, Derek.
Really? It's at CRFC.
Yeah, I would like to know definitively what is happening to Lee Wallace. Can't say we deserve to know what happened, but he is our player and we should not forget that. And that is from Charlie Penman from the Tampa Bay RSC. But I think, Derek, we covered that at the start of the show, or we spoke about it. I don't think that we will see Lee Wallace back in a Rangers shirt again. I don't think that we will find out anything until he has officially left the club. As to what happens, it's all been a very, very strange thing. For that to have happened, Derek, we covered it before. There must be something pretty serious that's happened, and not just speaking out against the manager or having a wee shout at half time. There's got to be something more serious for Lee Wallace not even be back in with the first team or anything like that. We have spoken about it, but I don't think we'll hear anything until he actually does leave. What do you think?
I think even after he leaves, we're not going to really feel the full story, because no doubt there'll be some sort of disclosure or non-disclosure thing involved in it as well. Obviously he's appealing his fine that he got from the club, and that's going through the motions just now. I don't know when that's going to happen. I know that when Gerrard first came in, he says that Lee Wallace was injured. Whether that was just towing the party line because of the issues with him, I don't know, but can only obviously take him on his word on that one. He's out injured, but we have spoken at length, and I've got my own personal opinion on the situation, which we've discussed in previous pods. So we might find out in due course. We might not. It's one of these things. But as you said, we both think that that's probably the last time you'll ever see him in a Rangers jersey in that game there. Yeah, well, and again, and thanks to CPRFC for that one, all the way from Tampa Bay. And as you know, Derek, the Bucks are my NFL team, so go Bucks. Like to say that. Fuck the Bucks. That's not very nice. Interesting fact that we found out today about Lee Wallace. He is the last ever Rangers player to have signed his contract within the manager's office at Ibrox. It's all now done at the Hummel Training Centre, which is a bit disappointing, isn't it? It is, and I think every single person in the room kind of unanimously said that has to be something that gets brought back, surely, for the tradition. We went on that tour and it was all about tradition, and we all felt proud still to be associated with that, Derek. And I know if that was me being a fan signing for Rangers, knowing what of everything that's happened in that office, I think you would be the same as me, Derek. You would be saying, right, I'll definitely sign, but I want to sign in that office, with everything all there. And it's a shame that it is just there for show now. That has got to be something that is brought back just for the tradition and the history of the club. I think that would be fantastic to do that. And the office was magnificent when we went into it, wasn't it? It just steeped in history, and any true Rangers fans who are getting to sign for the club should actually they should say, I want to sign on that desk where all these other wonderful world class players have all signed in the history of the club. It's a shame, it really is. So anybody for Rangers out there is listening to the pod, get that changed and get that back being used for actually signing players. I think it'd be fantastic. I mean, you said wonderful world class players, you've got to remember Ian Black signed on that table as well, so he was a wonderful world-class painter and decorator. So maybe that's why Ibrox was looking so good. I'm surprised, it wasn't him outside the stadium painting it, Maybe it was. So, woman places ring and Kinder Egg inside herself to propose to boyfriend. A woman gave her husband quite the Kinder surprise when she hid an engagement ring for him in a Kinder Egg placed inside of her vagina. The story of the woman, who for obvious reasons has not been named, is told by former junior doctor Adam Kay, who is packaging some stories from his time on the front lines inside the NHS into a book. So Derek, this happened in the UK. Oh my God! Right, yes. Okay. She reported to have performed the somewhat unusual method of wooing her prospective husband as part of the tradition of women proposing to men on the 29th of February, which occurs exclusively in leap years.
Yes.
She decided to take advantage of the tradition and propose to her boyfriend, going to the expense of buying her engagement ring, the trouble of putting it inside a Kinder Surprise egg, and then the imagination of inserting it vaginally. She would suggest some finger work to her partner, he would discover it and retrieve it, and then she would go down on one knee, and presumably him.
she would go down. Oh my God, right, okay.
Equal parts unexpected, disgusting and romantic, I suppose. The problem came when the Kinder egg, which was inserted vertically, turned horizontal inside the woman's vagina and became lodged. No amount of sugaring from either of them would get this particular goose to lay her golden egg. Remarkably, she was...
My God.
Remarkably, she was so keen to maintain this surprise, she wouldn't tell him what she had done or why. She popped the question and he said yes, presumably out of shock or fear of what a woman does with a Kinder Surprise would do to him if spurned.
Oh my God, Derek, that has got to be probably one of the most bizarre stories that you've ever came up with. Some folk are absolutely mental, really.
Well, it was a forceps delivery, I'll have you know.
Oh my God, that is incredible, and the fact that it happened in Britain as well, unbelievable.
So apparently this book is going to be called This Is Going to Hurt, Confessions of a Junior Doctor, and it's out now.
God. And I take it this is where you're going to be getting a lot of your future material from, Derek.
Actually, if it's as good as that, I might do. A Kindle version better be available.
Oh my God.
So, on that note, to any new listeners we may have picked up, or any people wanting to hire us for anything, well, I know we've probably just shot ourselves in the foot right there, so we'll leave it there.
Unbelievable, there you go.
Yes. So on that note, we'll have obviously our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/iReadyPod. We have our Twitter account, which is @iReadyPod. We have a website, which is iReadyPodcast.wordpress.com. You can contact us via email, however I sometimes don't get the emails, so maybe don't do that. We also have our YouTube account, which this will be on, as well as match reports as well, which Dave done the last one, didn't he?
I did that. I actually enjoyed doing it as well, Derek. It was excellent. I thoroughly was taking my wee notes during the match and everything like that. No, I was very pleased with myself. I even got technical and recorded it and sent it to you and everything.
It was pretty professional. I quite like that. Yeah.
What can I say?
Yeah, it makes a change.
Yeah, moaning bastard.
And we also have our Instagram page as well, which we will I'll eventually update to have all the pictures, a lot of the pictures we taken on the tour today. So
yeah, brilliant. Aye, excellent. I know you had your fancy professional camera with you today, Derek, so I look forward to seeing your professional type shots that you took. Your good friend June got a couple of absolute cracking photos a day, which he's already uploaded onto his Instagram page, which look at absolute business. So I can't wait to see your ones as well, Derek.
And the pictures as well.
Hey!
New season, same old jokes.
Same old shitey jokes.
So thanks for listening and goodbye.
Yes, good luck, Rangers. Hope we get the result on Thursday. Take care, folks. We'll be back soon.
And the stadium erupts in red, white and blue. You've never seen anything like it.
Let's go.
Manchester, brace yourself. Rangers are coming!
All good in the hood.